Welcome back to Closing Arguments. I'm Julia Janae in for Vinnie Politan tonight, who is out shooting the new season of Accomplice to Murder. It has been a monumental day in courtrooms across the country. We have been watching jurors deliberating in several high-profile cases that are nearing their end. In California, a jury has come back and decided the fate of former TikTok star turned double murderer Ali Abulaban. And in New Jersey, Christopher Greger, a man accused of abusing his 6-year-old son to death, also awaits a life-altering decision from the jury. And finally, in New York City, we have updates involving a third group of jurors, this one deliberating the fate of the former President Donald Trump. As we continue to cover the final moments of these big-time cases, be sure to keep it right here on Court TV. And we're going to begin this hour over on the West Coast, where a jury made their decision in the double murder committed by Ali Abulaban. Now, he already admitted to fatally shooting his estranged wife and the man that she was romantically linked to at the time, a man that Abulaban testified he was at one time a close friend of. He claimed that the killings were a crime of passion, committed in the moment, heat of passion, but the state claimed that these murders were premeditated and planned out by Abulaban beforehand. So let's go back into that courtroom, rewind it, and listen to the jury handing down Abulaban's fate.
In the Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of San Diego, the people of the State of California, plaintiff versus Ali Nasser Abulaban, defendant, case number SCD 292181, verdict. We, the jury in the above entitled cause, find the defendant, Ali Nasser Abulaban, guilty of the crime of murder in the first degree of Rayburn Cardenas.
Silence. Nothing.
Of Rayburn Cardenas Baron in violation of Penal Code Section 187, Parent A, as charged in Count 2 of the information. And we further find the allegation that in the commission and attempted commission of the above offense, the defendant, Ali Nasser Abulaban, intentionally and personally discharged a firearm, to wit, a handgun, and proximately caused great bodily injury and death to a person within the meaning of Penal Code Section 12022.53, Parent D, to be true. Special circumstance as to count 1 and 2, and we further find the allegation against the defendant, Ali Nasser Abulaban, that he has in this proceeding been convicted of more than one offense of murder in the first or second degree within the meaning of Penal Code Section 190.2, Parent A, Parent 3, to be true. Dated May 29th, 2024, jury 4-person. Same title, same cause, verdict. We, the jury in the above entitled cause, find the defendant, Ali Nasser Abulaban, guilty of the crime of murder in the first degree of Anna Abulaban in violation of Penal Code Section 187, Parent A, as charged in Count 1 of the information. And we further find the allegation that in the commission and attempted commission of the above offense, the defendant, Ali Nasser Abulaban, intentionally and personally discharged a firearm, to wit, a handgun, and proximately caused great bodily injury and death to a person within the meaning of Penal Code Section 12022.53, Parent D, to be true. Special circumstance as to count 1 and 2, and we further find the allegation against the defendant, Ali Nasser Abulaban, that he has in this proceeding been convicted of more than one offense of murder in the first or second degree within the meaning of Penal Code Section 190.2, Parent A, Parent 3, to be true. Dated May 28th, 2024, jury 4-person.
Guilty as charged across the board. Ali Abulaban is set to be sentenced for these convictions on June 28th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll, of course, bring that to you here on Court TV. But to weigh in on today's big verdict, let's bring in our think tank, who's joining us live in the studio. Criminal defense attorney and entertainment attorney Daryl Cohen is with us. Criminal defense attorney and Emory Law professor Molly Palmer, and criminal defense attorney Josh Jeffer is here. It's great to see you all on this Wednesday. That reaction inside of the courtroom to the verdict from the gallery. Daryl, your thoughts on if that was an okay thing to even happen? And we know there are people who are very happy that justice is served for these victims.
It's obvious that the jury did what the audience, the gallery, thought they should have done. So I think it's inappropriate to clap, but oh my gosh, it was so appropriate for them to do what they did, to say, Thank you, 12 men and women. Thank you for doing the right thing. Thank you for listening to the evidence or the lack of evidence. And thank you for finding him guilty.
Okay, inappropriate reaction, but appropriate conviction, Molly?
So for me, I think once I saw Mr. Abulaban's testimony, at that point, it became pretty clear that the defense's argument that this was second-degree and not first-degree murder was likely not going to fly, because there was a lot that he kind of was able to get across, I think not even just to the jury, but to the gallery. I think that's part of the reason that they reacted as they did. He was such a force to behold. He was incredibly angry, vehemently angry during cross-examination, and I just don't think a jury can get over something like that in a case like this.
Josh, did he have to take the stand? You know, that's where they heard it. The jury didn't know what we knew from behind the scenes of him yelling at the reporter, yelling at the judge.
There was so much going on in this case, and he successfully painted himself as a convicted killer when he gets up there and talks about, he's admitting this. I remember watching this, talking with Molly, talking with Daryl and my other colleagues. This was really a big gamble, because if he was going to win, he was going to have to convince some people by talking. But that was an outrageously difficult ask. No one was going to listen to him, turn around and have compassion for his loss of control. That was an admission to his most base instincts. And sure, he was angry. He felt betrayed. You don't shoot people.
He could not hold that back, and we have some sound from when he testified. We heard a lot about Anna during this trial, Ray Barron, those two victims, but under cross-examination, here's what the defendant said when the state was asking him the questions.
Anna put her hands up in the air and screamed, right? For mercy?
She was screaming because she was scared.
And you made the choice to fire another shot, correct?
No.
Correct? That's what you did.
That's what happened, but I didn't. Why the would I want to shoot Anna?
You stood in front of Anna and racked your gun right in front of her head, correct?
I don't remember.
And then you shot her in the forehead, correct?
I don't even remember how that happened. I just remember heading to the door.
You shot her in the forehead, correct?
That's what happened?
You put a bullet in her head and it went through the back, correct?
Correct.
One shot and you killed her, right?
I didn't know she was dead.
You knew that shooting Anna in the head would kill her, correct?
No.
You didn't know that?
I mean, I know that anybody getting shot in the head, that could be that could be fatal, of course.
Daryl, your reaction to him on the stand under cross?
He could have done better. He could not have done worse. Oh, I didn't know if she was dead when you get shot in the head. It could end up being death.
Should he have owned that? I mean, he'd already owned the shooting. Was there more that he could have owned? I mean, we saw him crying after the verdict was already read. It took some time before we saw this reaction from him. But Molly, what are your thoughts on just his demeanor overall?
I mean, I think it's so interesting because he's a TikTok star, right? So there's this element of drama. Whenever we're dealing with a celebrity, whether it's a social media celebrity or a movie star, and that we have them on the stand, we have to kind of parse out whether we believe the act that they're putting before us this time. I mean, he was kind of like an actor. He would do these little skits on TikTok. And so I think he comes with an element of disbelief generally, right? And then when he, you know, responds that he doesn't know that shooting someone in the head is going to kill them, he loses all credibility immediately. And so I think for this defense, it was hard to begin with. It was an uphill battle, and then it all just kind of fell apart with him.
And 2 points following up on what Molly just brought up, because it's super smart, the fact that there is this second act that's going to come. What he's trying it for is the appellate process, because he's making the words, he's spoken about how he would dream about an appeal happening, because obviously he knew the likelihood of a conviction was substantial from before this trial even started. You know, this wasn't difficult to imagine a conviction coming. So what do? You plan for the appeal. And that's what his testimony really did, was set up some appellate issues in a kind of clumsy way. But really what he did was illustrate privilege. And this is the privilege of someone who's a wannabe TikTok star who's got one iota of fame and credibility, and they wanted to run the show the way they wanted and didn't think about what putting a bullet through someone's head would do to them, and then have the gall to stand up there and try to explain it away.
It's unimaginable. The way that they died was unimaginable. Daryl, what happens at sentencing? It's happening on June 28th. The max is going to be life without parole there in California. What does he need to say to a judge? Because it's going to be the judge and not a jury deciding what his fate is.
Frankly, I don't think it's going to matter what he says. I think he's going to receive a sentence of life without parole. But having said that, he needs to be contrite. He needs to say, not just say it, but mean it. I really lost control of myself. I didn't know that I was going to kill her. It's very careful. I mean, he's got to be so careful, even more so now that he's been convicted, because whatever he says to the court, to the judge, is going to impact what the sentence is a little bit. I really think it doesn't matter. I think that the judge is going to have to make up the mind and say life without parole.
And Molly, the issue that's really at the crux of this, domestic violence. This was a victim who tried to get away from him, was in the process of getting a restraining order. Is there any lesson to be learned from this really tragic case?
I mean, the reality is that this case is tragic because it is a situation where somebody could not get away from their abuser. But that's also why he has the conviction that he has, because you can't argue that this wasn't premeditated when you're responding to somebody trying to get a restraining order against you. So that very fact, I think, is also what sunk him in this case, but it's also the thing that makes it very terrifying. You can be in an abusive relationship like this, and all it takes is that split second, whether they've decided to do this or not, and a firearm, and death is the result.
That sentencing coming on June 28th.